Hi guys, it's Mia. Um, I am just starting a live and about to invite Jessica Magoch to join us. I don't know if you're watching Jessica yet, but I am just about to invite you. So you should receive a notification. So hopefully you can see it. And yes, the topic of oh, okay. All right. Oops. You are being added right now. Okay. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hey!
Hello.
Good afternoon, good morning.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, good. Excited to be here with you travelpreneurs.
Awesome.
Yeah, the,
Happy
the
to have you
way of the
here.
future in the freelance gig economy, right? I think they
Yeah.
said, what are the stats? Like 30% of all jobs will be freelance by 2020 or something like that. So
No,
I
I
pulled
think
that
the
out of the
number
air,
is
something
just
like that.
growing. So
Yes. Well, we got to get on the train. Got to get on the freelance gig economy train. So,
Well, we definitely have people here. So we have the Bijit, Mackenzie, and Adrienne. So hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, the topic of our conversation, Jessica is going to be sharing one of her secrets about Quora and how you can really get good qualified leads from, and also like how you could really get behind their head and see what do they need, what do they want, what questions they are asking, even by not doing the traditional surveys. So, welcome, Jessica. Before we get
thanks for
started,
having me.
yeah, you want to give us a quick intro before we dig in and tell us a little about yourself and who are you?
Sure. I'm Jessica Magoch. I'm a sales coach and closing coach, and I teach people how to sell without being icky, sleazy, or just plain annoying. And I'm sharing what I learned recruiting, training, and leading a sales team from a B2B startup commission only sales team from zero to over $100 million in revenue in 3 years. And so I'm sharing that bit by bit, step by step to help entrepreneurs wherever they are in their business, help them to get to the next level. So I'm here today with the very beginning of that, which is understanding your customer so you can attract them in a saturated market and generate some quality leads through Quora, which is my little secret, although it won't be a secret anymore. I mean, there's tons of people on it, but you rarely hear people talking about, how to find leads or content or information.
Yeah, you definitely do hear a lot of people talking about Quora, more about like questions and answers, right? Just kind of like browsing through, but not necessarily, how you could actually monetize on that. So, looking
Yeah.
into the details.
Yeah. So I'm going to take you step by step through how to use Quora to uncover the content that your ideal customer cares about right now, and then how to turn that into headlines and lead magnets that will get them to opt in to your community or to your email list, or it'll be the front line of your marketing strategy. So when we get the right people in our funnel, then it becomes easier to sell them and convert them later on.
All right,
All right.
let's get started.
Okay. If you guys, whoever is here, whenever you do jump in, just let us know what business you are in, what business you're running. This way we can help cater the the training to you for who shows up live and joins us. So if whether you're with me live or you do this later, jump on Quora.com, Quora.com. You don't need to worry about your profile or anything right now. You just need to log in, which I think you can do with Facebook easily. Just log in. Don't worry about like creating a fancy profile. You're not even going to answer any questions right now. We're just using this for research purposes. And then you can use Quora later to, as a content strategy. But right now we're going to use it just to get research on our ideal customer. So one way you can do research on your ideal customer is to send out surveys, right? And that'll help you to the extent of the number of people that actually participate in the survey. So other than that, you can go outside of your surveys and look at places like Quora, or look at places like Google keyword searches, or Yahoo groups and forums, anywhere people ask questions, especially if they're asking questions about the topic that you cater to, or your area of expertise, or whatever your business helps, whatever problem your business is helping them solve. So go to Quora.com, log in, and then in the top right, you'll see a search window. Just start typing in a keyword related to the problem that you solve, or the problem you want to solve, right? So for me, it'd be like sales management, startup sales, things like that. And then, so it'll list the topics, it'll suggest topics that are relative to that keyword. So you just click on just start with one that's most relative. And then when you get in there, I'm going to go there so I can guide you step by step. So when you get into a topic, say like I'm in sales commissions right now. Now, I happen to know the company that started this topic, Commission Crowd. It has 29,000 followers of that topic, right? So number one, I already know that topic is important to people, right? Because other topics have like 300 followers, right? So I know that even within sales, this topic of sales commissions is a valuable topic. Okay, so that's helpful in my research alone. But then I'm going to click under this this read button, which is right under there. You'll have read, answer, and most views. And this has actually changed already since I created the worksheet that goes with this, which was only a few weeks ago. They changed just the interface slightly. But what you can do here is under that topic, on the right-hand side, you'll see related topics, and you'll see how many people are following those topics. So if you landed on a topic that's not that popular, you can just head over to a topic that is popular and relevant, right? And sometimes there'll be more than one topic created on the same, general, area. So, and one just might be the one where people hang out and the other one isn't. So go into the one where people are hanging out. So I'm in sales commissions, and under read, I'll see some of the popular answers. And you'll see how many, so there's a couple ways you could do this, but one way is just to look at the number of upvotes for that answer. So right now I'm looking at, this one was promoted. So they also have promoted content. I would just ignore that because I don't think it's a fair way to judge what's popular, right? Because those are ads being served to people. But like one of them, 18 upvotes, 21 upvotes, right? So I'm going to look at the ones with the most upvotes just to see what people care about. So this one with 18 upvotes, the question was, what are the best cold calling or emailing strategies? And that was in the topic of sales, which I don't know why it's coming up there, but in sales commission. So you scroll down, I guess that was shared into that group as well. You can also click on the three little dot buttons. You'll see all questions. And when I click on all questions, I can see all the questions asked and how many people are following them. So what's important to me is how many people are following that question, because then I know that's important to the people in the group. So you'll see a lot of them have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, followers. But then you'll hit one that's like 200 followers, especially if the group's big enough, like you'll get 100 followers or 200 followers. So those are the ones I really just want to like scroll down until you get to those. And again, it's the same thing with questions. Like you might have the same similar question worded differently, and one gets 100 followers and one gets 1 follower. And that's important to know because the one with 100 followers is speaking the language that your customers are talking, right? And that's another lesson, right, in and of itself, right? Like, what are the words, what is the language that my ideal customer is using? So if you're an expert in what you do, you probably are accustomed to using a language that you've developed over, 15, 20 years of being an expert in your topic. But now if you're talking to beginners or people who are just coming in, they might be using different words or different language around the language you're accustomed to. So if you're going out into the market with a language that your customers aren't speaking, then they can't translate it, right? It's the same thing as putting an ad in Polish when your customers speak Spanish. They're not going to click because they don't know what it says.
Yeah.
So think about the words that are being used. But what I want you to do for the exercise is to go through and pick the top 10 questions according to number of followers. Okay? And in the worksheet, there just gives you a spot. So number one is you'll have to scroll a bit. You might have to jump out and go into a different topic to do that, to find some activity. But once you get in there, jot down all of the questions in the exact words that your customers used in Quora to ask that question. And then I put a note section. In the note section, just jot down some of the language that you see there that people are using to talk about the topic. Now, like in sales, people are using the word leads to talk about leads, but if someone like brand new might not even know what a lead means, right? So they might just call it, how do I get customers? So you'll need to like navigate what you're and take it also into account the level of, if you're talking to a sales manager, for instance, if I'm talking to a sales manager, they are going to use different language than a salesperson just getting started or looking for a sales job. So you're going to note those down. Any questions so far? No.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I don't know if anybody, wants to type in something. I don't have anything so far, but we will post, you did reference the worksheet. We will post that worksheet after so that you can actually use it and go through it and start, noting those things down. So
yeah. And if you don't have the worksheet, I mean, that's just to help you, but you just jot down the 10. I'll give you the instructions here. And then here's the fun part. So you can go into different topics and categories and jot down. And again, look for ones with more than 20 followers. I'll put that threshold down because Quora is big enough that if it doesn't have 20 followers, people aren't interested. Same thing when you look at the answers, the upvotes on the answers, you'll see like most of them have none, and then you'll just keep looking at the ones that are most popular answers. And it's not even the answer that I care about. It's the question that the answer was responding to. Because even if people aren't following it, if they upvoted it, they're interacting with that. So write down the top 10. And then the second thing we're going to do is now turn that into relevant content for your client. So the first thing I want you to do is start by creating headlines right out of those questions. Okay? So some ideas you can use for helping you create headlines are like a how-to blank or top 10 list or the best blank, right? And there's a really great tool you can use for that at HubSpot. Let me give you it in case you don't get the worksheet. It's called the HubSpot free topic generator. So that's at hubspot.com/blog-topic-generator. And what you do there is you just put in some keywords and it'll display like 40 different titles out of those keywords. But you got to know what the keywords are. So that's where the Quora content comes in. So it'll give you ideas. Some of them will be ridiculous and irrelevant. You just delete those and take the ones that are appropriate. So some things that are always, big ones are how-tos, especially like in a YouTube setting, a how-to video, top 10 lists or top anything lists, or just the best thing. The idea of any of these pieces of free content is like quick access to information and change. So as tempting as it is to share everything you know with people, the more you give them, the less they are actually going to experience some kind of result and come back to you for more.
Yeah.
Right? So as generous and loving as we are, of course you can't be in business if you don't have customers. So all of this is like giving little bits and pieces, giving them one thing that can help them change. And of course, knowing that it's never just one thing that changes your whole business, right? But if you can give them one little change in their business, then that gives them the confidence to keep coming back to you
Yeah.
for more. So don't be afraid to give too much good stuff. You can give your best thing out right away, but it's never enough really for the whole picture. So if they can have one transformation with your freebie or download, then that's the idea here. So then you would create different at least 3, like go into the blog, into the topic generator. They'll give you like 40. You can keep refreshing it. It'll give you more. Pick out the top 3 titles that you like that answer the question that Quora asked. So you can even create an article and just use the question, right? Like you can just say like how to calculate sales commissions for, base salaries or something like that. If that was the question, I would just you could pull it right out and make an article out of that. So, so you create like 3 different titles out of each of them. So now already you have like 30 different possible pieces of content or information that you can share with your audience so quickly. And we already know that they're relevant. We don't have to put it all out there and wait and see if someone clicks on it, because we've already done the research ahead of time to know that they want these answers. And the more specific you can be to your target market, the better. So for instance, in the title suggestions, I'll suggest, creating the title. And then the third part, the last part, is making it tangible and relevant. So now I want you to take those 3 different or 30 different headlines you created, those 10 topics, and think about 3 different ways you can deliver the content. So blog posts would be a first obvious one, but what are other ways people consume information, right? You can do a training video, like and limit it to like 5-7 minutes, okay? You can do a training video, you can do a series, you can do a download like a cheat sheet or a template or an audio training. You can do an infographic, you can do, again, a video, but you can do like a tutorial, right? There's so many different ways that you can then deliver a checklist. What are some others that I'm missing? Anyone want to jump in?
So like I do like say even like social media posts, right? Like I do a lot of like images and quotes, like posts. Like let's say we had like I don't know, like 5 ways on how to improve your marketing, right? And then it would be like you can get like social media posts. So yeah, can you hear me?
You just went underwater. I don't know if it's your connection or mine.
Yes, I actually
cool.
heard.
You just went underwater, so I don't know if it was your connection. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Hopefully everyone else can hear you too. But yes, so you can use those to recreate like social media posts and like to generate activity within your groups, right? Like pose a question. then people, start interacting and asking and answering that. You can create an ebook, you can do a calendar, a swipe file, a playbook, a blog series, top like a tip list, a top 5 list. I'm giving you lots of a guide, right? A white paper.
Mm.
So there's so many different ways to deliver the answer to this one thing. And now that can become your freebie or your opt-in,
Yeah.
right? You can even have people opt into a blog series. Like that's not uncommon either, especially now since like written curated content is even more valuable than ever.
Yeah.
It's like it used to be the only way you could deliver information, and now it's like I just want to read something that someone thought out and carefully put in order and get all the answers. So even opting into a blog series where they get it delivered, three series delivered to their inbox or something, a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah,
So
one of the things that I really like that you said, from this, I think it was the previous conversation. I don't know if you mentioned it here, but I do want to point out, yes, you can like do a lot of this, right? Even like a training video or an online course or whatever, but it's like create a freebie first and see what's the response that
mhm.
you're getting, right? So whether people are actually like signing up for your freebie, right? For
Yeah,
whichever of these questions or content offerings, right, you have before you create anything else, right? And
right.
then when you actually get that traction and when you see like, hey, people are actually, responding to that like question, whatever, that you picked for that series, right? And then once when you start getting feedback and people start signing up and getting the freebie, then continue and taking it down further to creating, additional online programs or whatever without spending too much time, money, on doing it before you actually, get some traction on it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to test the market for virtually free. Nothing's free.
well, yeah, pretty
Virtually free after you pay for all your tools and everything. Um, virtually compared to the cost of creating a business that doesn't attract customers, it's virtually free, right? I'd love to add to that through my years of building this coaching business, I think it's interesting to understand what people think they need versus what they need, right? So, for instance, in sales, people are very reluctant to say they need help selling, right? Or they don't want to learn icky manipulative techniques. So they're like, I'm just going to figure it out on my own. But when you talk about training people or commissions or something like very nuts and bolts, now all of a sudden you get people to raise their hands. So at least or I know now I'm getting closer to where my customer is by things that they care about. And I know under all that, they have to have a solid sales training program, but that's
yeah.
rarely why they actually come to me. Their main pain is like, I keep hiring the wrong salespeople. Help, and so we work backwards from there. So I think offering these freebies and seeing what's most relevant, or even as simple as putting it in the form of a blog post, you will see a difference in the clicks of what people are searching for and getting into your blog posts. Like my ones on recruiting or interview questions always get, sales interviewing questions always get tons of clicks because people think their problem is the salespeople. And it's my job then to tell them, no, you're the problem, not them. No, just kidding. You don't have a sales strategy for them to follow,
Yeah, totally.
So we work our way backwards, but I think like everyone will find that within their own customer base. So what you think is so obvious is not necessarily obvious for your customer or what they're looking for. What are they typing in when they're looking for that thing that's giving them the headache today? And then delivering them this like supposed solution, like oh yeah, that's like all I need is a template, you know? So just giving them like crumbs of the next thing that they need. And a lot of people will just stop at that. You know, that's okay when you have to get a lot of people in your funnel. But for like 60% of the people will never take a next action with you. So if you understand like that's the general statistics or results across the board, then it doesn't make it so sad when it's true for you. You know, just like coming to peace with that, with most people won't ever take another step. Um, so now that you have all these different ways of creating content, I know that even for my own email list, if I'm sending out an email and I'll in my email series, I'll include more downloadables and resources, right? So they come into my funnel, but they'll also get a printable training schedule. They'll also get, right, like a printable interview guide, or the, you know, top questions, or where to find the best salespeople, top 5 list or something. And I find that when I show them in the subject line that there's something now again, tangible, it's not actually tangible, but these things are perceived as tangible, then there's more clicks. Like I gotta get that before before it's gone. So like an example would be, you can use that for an email, like an email subject line, like, you know, free audio training, the best sales advice I ever received for entrepreneurs ready to launch. So the last part of what I want to offer is to make it very specific towards your target audience, because you can have like top interview questions, top sales interview questions might not be specific enough. I might want to say top, you know, startup sales questions, right? To make sure you get the right salespeople for your startup, or the top 5 SaaS sales questions. And immediately you'll get this like fear of scarcity, this scarcity that might slip in and go like, well, what if there's someone in a totally different industry that could still use the same thing? What happens is, like, the general rule is if you don't talk to somebody, you're not talking to anybody, right? So they need to immediately be able to see, this is for me. And that's the main reason, that's the main way you stand out in a saturated market, right? Is by creating freebies that you know they want and telling them that this is specifically for you. Now, if I'm running ads or something off of that, I can create 10 different ads and do 10 different target clients off of that. But if I tried to run one ad and appease everybody, then nobody clicks. And all of a sudden, I'm like, why? Why doesn't anybody want this thing, you know? But when they see and they go, oh my gosh, that's for me, of all of Facebook land. How did she know that I was the SaaS sales manager, you know? And then even another thing I've learned, even like the relevancy of the blog image. I mean, the blog image or the image that goes with the Facebook ad, that it is calling right to your ideal customer. Like, I've already, as you know, as crazy as it sounds, if I want to target women, I have to use a picture of a woman, and men rarely will click on a picture that has a woman in it. If I'm like talking, you know, get better at sales, and it's like a woman, you know, standing there, the guys don't click on it. You go, that's really dumb. But you have to know how people work and what happens to get business and ultimately help people. So that image that goes with it, to also, you know, call out right to your ideal customer. Like I noticed that a lot of people that were clicking on my sales playbook, which is really like a sales manual, were men. And so when I had a picture of myself with the sales playbook, they didn't click on it. But when I had like an image of what you would assume was a guy, who was just like neck down, like at his desk with it's definitely a guy's body, like using the playbook, the clicks go up. So just be aware that people want to know this is for them. And the more that they can see themselves in the copy, the headline, the image, the more likely they are to respond.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, what I would add, which is like just, this is also a good way for you to like get your clients as well. I mean, I know that's not the topic of today's conversation, right? But like once when you go through like all of these questions and you see the people, right? Like
Yeah.
engage, reach out to them, right? Put them on your lead list, follow up with them, see what they need, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
would need another Facebook Live on that, right?
Right, right,
It's
right, right.
just, it's like, it's a really good add-on that it doesn't stop there, right? So like you
Yeah, I mean,
really
if,
like
yeah.
you get that information, you get research, you get behind their head, you create those freebies, you create the content, and then you like follow back like, hey, what about this? So yeah,
Exactly.
really,
So what the way I use Quora is like, first of all, just fill out your profile. It'll ask you what you're an expert at, and then create a great headline. The cool thing about Quora is you can choose the headline according to what you're answering. So you'll have
oh
like your
really,
default headline, and then you can change it at any time you want, or just like it'll give you a drop down of like the different headings that you've created. So if you're answering a question in like sales management, you could be like, sales management expert or something. Or like if I won an award, I could put that as my headline in a relevant topic or
yeah,
something. Again, just helps them say like, this woman knows what she's talking about right away before they even read the answer.
mm-hmm.
And then why people love Quora is because the experts that are, first of all, they're for real experts on there. Like you can see from their credentials, but the answers they're giving are like sometimes full out blog posts and how to's, and if you're doing it regularly, you'll just copy content from other place and paste it into Quora. You don't want to link out to someplace else for the answer. So you wouldn't want to be like, I wrote a blog post on this, click here to find it. Just like copy and paste that blog post there, format it to make it look pretty because there's lots of formatting options,
Yeah,
and then have a call to action at the end. So, hey, if you want more, you'll probably, I think this could really help you. It's this free resource I have, and just drop it in there. As long as as long as it follows valuable content, it's received well.
yeah,
Um, and you'll get clicks from that, and then you can create a blog post in Quora. You could create your own blog in Quora. So it's called a space, your own space. So I have one post in my space, and I just keep updating it with links to new. Actually, what I did now was I just created an embedded playlist from YouTube, so I don't have to. It doesn't have to be updated. It'll automatically update when I add a video to my playlist on YouTube. So anyone who clicks in there is going to see like all the content. But the idea is like right below that, I have the download to the playbook to get
awesome.
onto the list. Yeah. So yes, can use it to answer questions. And then the last thing I do is once I answer a question, I have my VA do this, but you could do it, yourself, is copy as soon as you answer it, it'll show you the answer to your question. And you can just grab the URL that goes directly to the answer. And then I put that in I use Meet Edgar for social media posting into my Quora category. And so then it'll reshare with all my other networks answers that I gave on Quora, and be like, hey guys, I answered this question, thought you could find it valuable too. And just as another piece of
Wait, you do that via
positive.
Meet Edgar?
Meet Edgar is what I use
Yeah.
for my.
And sorry, I just don't understand because
Yeah, yeah.
what that Meet Edgar is for managing LinkedIn connections.
Oh no, this is a different
Oh no, that's
I
Meet
think is
Leonard. This
this
is
is
Meet Edgar.
that's Leonard. Yeah, they all have names now. These like
Meet
old men,
Edgar.
I think,
Okay,
like of
I know Meet.
older men, Leonard and Edgar. And, no, it's Edgar, Edgar, Meet Edgar. So I use Meet Edgar because it automatically recycles posts. So I have like 200 or 300 pieces of content in there now. And so you could schedule like categories like press mentions, Quora answers, blog posts, and it will go through and recycle them over time with like making sure you don't do back to backs or too
Yeah.
close together. So you don't have to worry about scheduling every week like on a Hootsuite or something like that. Just takes the stress out of
Yeah,
scheduling.
totally. Well, automation
But
and, setting it up quick and easy, that's everybody's goal. So awesome.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
definitely look into
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, okay,
So
Jessica, I think we are over time a little bit.
that's always me. I'm always over delivering.
Any final thoughts or any questions from anybody that are still on that are watching? Any final tips? I mean, I think we covered a lot. I know I got tons of value out of it. Like, I did my own notes and definitely, what I'm going to be following up on. So, Mackenzie, David, Shane, I don't know who's still on, but I think we got a finger thumbs up. So,
thumbs up. So you can grab that free template that I was talking about. That's my freebie at template.jpmpartners.com. So two ways you can get more from me. One is through that template.jpmpartners.com. The other is through a free training that I have up that I do at Wharton every semester, the Wharton School of Business with their entrepreneur startup clubs. And that's at livetraining.jpmpartners.com. And that's the science behind why people really buy. So if you want some sales psychology, jump into the live training. If you want a playbook template to help create a sales manual for your current or future sales team, you can grab those there.
Yeah, and feel free to post the links also in the comments after the call. So
Yeah, I'll do that after.
just click on it. And by the way, I mean, I actually did the free training with Jessica, and I'm doing her training as well on her programs. And she provides tons of value. Like, if you really want to learn more about sales and, really see, what is the psychology behind the buying and all of that, I would like totally recommend it. It helped me a lot too, so I know it will for you as well.
Thank you. Thank
So
you for the shout out.
yeah, so thank you so much. This was great. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will be back again in a week with another Facebook Live. So thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for having me. Bye,
Okay, thanks
everyone.
Jessica. Bye.